I never know what to do with my hands. I'm just sitting here, just not a scientist. What's up, guys? This is BS for Build. I'm Chris. We're here doing the Rocket Bunny Install DIY Series Part 3. We're doing waterproofing for the rear and the front of the car. After you install your Rocket Bunny kit, your stock mud guards are no longer going to work because your wheels are going to be too wide, and you need to waterproof between the Rocket Bunny kit and your outer skin of the quarter panel, as well as your outer skin to your inner skin of the quarter panel, which we did kind of just a halfway waterproofing on earlier. Some people said, you know, you should weld those two things together. When you go really wide, you're cutting off a lot of metal, and you can't bend this outer quarter panel in to meet the under quarter panel and weld it together. You'll get heat warp and a lot of other bad stuff trying to do that. So I've done this on my last Widebody kit. It works really well, and this is what I'd advise. We're going to grab some sheet metal. We're going to come in from the underneath on both the front and the rear, and use sheet metal, rivets, some seam sealer, and then this paint, and we're going to basically build a guard going all the way from the inner quarter panel extending out to our body kit. Stay tuned. First thing you're going to want to do is jack up your car so you can get a little bit more space under here, and remove your wheel so you can have some working room. Okay, we jumped underneath the car here, and one of the things I wanted to point out, it's one of the first things that I'm going to be doing, is if you look right up here, I got a little plastic clip. I've taken this bag full of these little plastic retainer clips. You guys can see what those are. Anyways, along the inner skin of your quarter panel, you're going to have holes like there. Any of those holes that lead into the cabin. So normally what you have is you have your plastic here, and then these clips press your plastic into the body, and then that's how it seals itself up. So since this is kind of our last line, what I'm doing is I'm taking these little plastic clips, and I'm going to pop them into each one of the holes and hammer them in there flush. That way, and I'll put a little seam sealer around the end of it. And what I'm doing is I'm sealing those holes shut. If you were really weld happy, you could cut out a little chunk of metal and weld around those holes. But basically, we're just sealing up those holes so water doesn't fly in them. In a previous episode, we talked about how this isn't going to really match up with this unless you connect them together. So what I want to do is actually do that right now, because I don't need to take this back off for paint. And then once I have this connected together, I won't have any more extra flex or anything in the over fender that's attached to the actual fender. So then I can go ahead and safely do all my seam sealing and stuff right directly to the fender. It's just a little bit of added protection. So the way that I'm going to do this is with clip. I'll drill a hole in here. Clip will come on here. Some people call it a speed nut. I'll drill a hole in here as well, and then I'll come in from the top, throw a nut in through that'll connect to the metal clip, and that will be what actually holds it on rather than relying on the threads in the plastic to hang onto it. The speed nut will hang on to the bolt on top. So bolt and washer up top, speed clip down on the bottom. Just drill two holes that are going to match up directly, and then I'll mate these two things together and drill them up just before I go in here and start doing the adding in metal for the waterproofing. Now that we've got our back all bolted in to it itself, very scientific, I know. I've got my sheet metal here, and just to start in this back area, what I'm going to be doing is using the metal. This is like 5-inch width. I'm just going to be cutting off chunks like about this big and placing them in here, riveting them to the body, the interior quarter panel, 2 rivets here, and then bending them so they meet up nicely with the outer part of my body kit. And remember, with the wheels are going to be spinning this way when we're driving forward. It's going to be throwing up water up and this way, right? You're going to get water spraying this way. So you want your pieces to be overlapping each other so that they overlap and they don't let water fly up in between them. So you'd want to go here, next one goes on top of that, overlapping this edge, next one, and so on and so forth. So to start, I'm just going to cut off a small chunk right here and start placing it right in this back part. Okay guys, sorry it's a little hard to see from inside the wheel well here, but I wanted to show you, I got 3 of these pieces done. So this is our bottom corner piece, and going up you have our second piece and our third piece. And you can see here's the gap that we're going across. It's from inner wheel well, where you have your quarter panels stitched together straight to the body kit. And we're overlapping, and these have very little seam, like very little gap in the overlap and the body. So then so I'm going to continue and go all the way around the inner wheel well, and then I'm going to come back with seam sealer and go around all these seams where everything's meeting up and just gob a bunch of seam sealer in there so it'll be all sealed up, and then they'll be sealed to each other as well. So you can see it's kind of like scales, and you just go on through and do each one. I'm doing little 5-inch strips just all the way around. Well, it's taken a couple hours, but I did get this backside finished, and I helped Adrian redo the thermostat in his E46 Beamer. So that's good. Once I got some time to focus back on this, it came together pretty quickly. Let me show you how it looks. All right, well this might be very hard to film without making everybody sick, but I just wanted to show, so this last back piece, it actually covers the bolt. It's got a little bit sticking out here of the bolt that we need to do to undo the rear end bumper. So what I did is I actually used threaded screws here and here, so this piece could be removed with a screwdriver in the case that I need to remove my rear bumper. Everything else is riveted, and again, I'm sorry, I'm trying not to make everybody sick. And it goes around and back down. So any water were to get in here, it would just fly on down around the seam and fall off onto the ground. Okay, so now that that's all on there, the next thing that I'm going to do is seam sealer around all these gaps. There aren't very big gaps between anything. What I did was, once I got it one piece riveted, I'd take the hammer and kind of tap around the wheel well, the inner wheel well, to make the sheet metal kind of mold in with it, and then I'd put the second rivet in there. So there's not very big gaps at all, but I'm going to seam seal all around it, except for that one piece that's meant to be removable. I'm not going to seal that on there. One thing I did want to mention is you'll notice that it does come right from the body and extend to the wide body kit. So we're extending our body, but we're not really like giving you a lot of room for like tucking if you want to tuck your wheel. So it would be the same process if you want to tuck really hard. You would just go from the body, go more like straight out and meet the kit more like here, and you could probably seam seal it right to the kit. I bet it'd stay on there just straight enough. But these pieces of metal, when you rivet them on there, they're really strong on there. So I think you could also just do it straight out to the kit, and you could make a meeting point like right up here, so you could have like 2 inches to tuck. But I tested out my wheel and tire fitment, and I'm going to be perfectly fine with the way I'm looking at doing mine. I'll be able to tuck it in as much as I want to. So the next thing I'm going to do is seam seal this thing up. Okay, I've decided to start on the driver's side. So I've jacked up the car and gave myself some space here and removed the wheel. So you can see right down through there, that's the ground. Our wheel will be right in here. It'll go till, I don't know, roughly about right here, the tire will, and it's going to be throwing water. You know, this is your ABS stuff, not a big deal to get wet, but back here you got your headlight, and that is good to protect, because get too much water in your headlight and cause your headlight to fog up and stuff like that. So that's why you have mud guards under here, as well as if the water flies through here, here's the crack where your hood is going to meet your fender. Water flies up through here, what you'll get is this really weird splashing effect where you got water splashing out through here, and you'll like show up to a place and you'll have a bunch of water streaks coming off onto your headlight, and you're like, why the hell is that happening? Well, it's because water's flying off of your tire, bouncing off of your hood, and then flying all the way out here. So anyways, what we're going to do with this is I'm going to do same kind of thing, strips of metal. There's pieces to connect everything. So inside here, there's a piece right here that you can connect to. Right here, you can drill through this and connect to this. Keep in mind, this is spot welded together, so don't drill through the spot welds. That will lower your the rigidity of this. And then you can connect down here to another piece that's right underneath the headlight, right here where I'm putting my hand. So what I'm going to be doing is cutting strips and bending them to mold along the wheel well and duck in right under that headlight and bolting them in both places. And then down here, you have to kind of just get as close as you can to these brake lines and the rest of the frame. So that's the process. I'll go ahead and get it done and show you guys what it looks like. Okay, I'm a little over halfway done with the front piece. So what I've done, if we come all the way in here, is I've thrown one piece that's meant to block the water from flying off of the tire and between the kit and the body panel itself. And then these two other pieces right here and here bolt onto that frame rail right up there and cover the ABS stuff and just come on down to a reasonable level. Remember, water is going to be coming off the tire flying in a counterclockwise direction. So that's what we're really trying to make sure stops water from flying in that way. So you can stop at kind of a reasonable level down here because water won't be flying up like that. So as I come over here, you can see, now it's not like the ultra prettiest thing, but this is by no means a show car. So you just have, rather than having the black plastic that you would have that is your mud guard, you have a couple pieces of metal that are right there. And you can't really even see the ground until you get to the very furthest point. And basically that's blocked by what's down there, so it won't really be flying over here. So the last piece that I have to do on this side is down here, you need to put a piece of metal coming off of this one to go up, because you can see how you can see light up there. You don't want water flying that way. So we're going to be putting a piece of metal from here and attaching it going all the way around. Alright guys, I have to apologize. I was a little eager to throw on the wheel and check my clearance, and I didn't film this inside beforehand. But what we're looking at here is the front of the Rocket Bunny kit, the lower part. And I just jumped in there and added some more metal. So that's a long strip that comes up and then connects to a couple more pieces that finish off the top piece and come back around to this piece that I showed you earlier and connect in. So that gets us from the inner fender to our kit piece. And I did check the wheel turning radius, the clearance, and the tire has room to move in there, and it's not going to rub on our new piece, so that is good. And now it's time to move on to the other side, which is a little bit more interesting. Well, actually it's probably a little bit less interesting, but it has a fuse box over there. So let's jump over there and take a look at it. On this side, it's a lot of the same as the last side. To the left of our fuse box, we got this big gaping hole right here that we're going to want to block off and protect our headlight. So sheet metal is going to be extending from the frame underneath and meeting up with the core support and the supports down there, blocking off the whole passageway for all this area here. And if you look right down under here, you can see a little bit of light poking through right under my hand. I'll show you what that is on the other side here. When we jump down in here, you can see right here is a hole. And I'm gonna not block that off on purpose, because basically I think it's gonna be very hard for water to fly in there, and if it does, on the other side there's not a lot of electronics that are really of high importance or that are gonna be very fragile. So I'm gonna start by not blocking that off and just see how it goes, because there's not a lot of good stuff to attach to down there. It's a hard angle to hit, so I'm just gonna leave that alone. We're gonna go basically up in here and meet up with our fuse box on the bottom of our fuse box right here. So a lot of the same stuff as last time. I'm just going to jump under here, start bending up some metal and getting it on there. Alright, we wrapped the passenger side front wheel well. It's all buttoned up. Got plenty of blockage there, and then I did one big strip that rolls all the way there and around down there. And I think that will be plenty of coverage. Cool thing about this, if you need to adjust or add on, it's pretty easy to just, you can drill out any of these rivets, or you can just add on more pieces of sheet metal, or if I need seam sealer or any of that stuff, I can just throw it on as I go. Whew. That took a lot longer than I thought it would. And tonight I earned this beer. So takeaways from this is, it took much longer than I remembered it taking the last time I did it. I don't know if I just did it better this time, or if it's Adrian's fault because I helped him with his car. But I'm sorry, I was hoping to get to the window louvers, but it's midnight. Well, it's 11:30 p.m. and I got to the shop at about 10:30 a.m. So I passed a 12-hour day today, and I don't know where all the time went, but it's well worth it. I consider this like, I was just thinking about it when I was working on it. This is like Rocket Bunny tax. Like, if you want to go wide body, you got to deal with the fact that there's a lot of water that comes flying off of giant tires, and it's all got to go somewhere, and you really don't want it going into your car. So I hope there was something to take away from that. I hope the episode is not too short as well. But I did my best. I feel good about this. Like, I'm going to be driving this car, you know, in some snow over mountain passes and rain. And I feel great with the way that it is. And this is like, this can be like a moving target. You know, if you find that water is creeping into your engine bay, you're screwed if it goes in the back, but the back is bulletproof. I seam sealed that thing up and it's awesome. I forgot to paint it. I'll just paint it tomorrow or the next day during paint prep. But the seam sealer on there, like, there's no gaps. There's no light getting through there. So back is really important. Under the hood though, if you find some water like spraying up a little bit, you can just find out where that's coming through and you can patch that up. All right, on to more important stuff. Sunday, April 10th, I'm gonna be in California. I'm gonna be in LA, and it looks like the best meet to go to is Supercar Sunday. That's in, I wanna say Woodland Hills. I'm not really sure. Look it up. It's a really early morning meet. So guys, set your calendars, set your iPhone, tell your mom, wake up, come out. I will see me. I will see me there. I will be there, and I'll be bringing this car. So as I'm filming this, it's Sunday. I think we're 2 weeks before or something like that. It's April. I don't have my phone. It's like late April. It's like the 28th or something today, 29th. So we don't have. No, it's May. It's March. It's March. Damn, I'm screwing this outro up. Anyways, sorry. You can tell I'm a little exhausted from this project today. But I think we have 2 weeks, which means, but it takes me like 3 days to drive down there. I'm gonna be having some fun and obviously visiting family while I'm down there. So I got like 6 days left to work on this car. So tomorrow we're gonna start in paint prep. I'll be working 7 days a week on this car until it's done. But very soon we're gonna be painting, paint prep and painting the car and doing some final things. I think I'm gonna steal a bunch of pieces from the Plan A as far as the interior. I need a stereo that actually works with the card that works. And I think I kind of want a leather interior, so I might jack that from the Plan A and anything else. So there will be plenty more episodes to come. Paint prep is next. I know we all love that, but we'll find a way to make it fun. Maybe do a little shakedown, maybe a garage burnout or something. Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. Sorry if I talked too long. Sunday, April 10th, the Plan B will be with me, and we'll be in Southern California. Hopefully the weather will be nice, and we'll all have some fun and hang out. It's too bad you can't drink beer at car meets at 9 in the morning, but coffee, whatevs. Shirts are still available. I'm heading home right now to package up a couple more and send them out. They are still available. I want anybody that wants to get one of these to get them while they can. So get them while they're here. I'm still shipping out free decals with any shirt purchase. You buy the other design or this design, whatever. Still shipping out free large decals with the shirt. So if you guys want to get one, pick it up. Thank you guys very much for all the people that have pitched in so far. It really means a lot to me. You can find us at facebook.com/BSForBuild, BSForBuild on Instagram, and BSForBuild.com is our site with some extra stuff on there, and that's where you can get to our shop. And please remember to like and subscribe to the channel. I think that's it. Peace.